All right, my marksman, welcome back to On Mark Gaming. Now, in this case, you see that this channel or this video is a little bit different, and that's because I thought I would show off some of my other hobbies, which if you can't already tell by the playmat that I have here, one hobby that I particularly really like is Magic the Gathering. In particular, I'm a very big Commander player with my playgroup and my friends, and as you guys can see here, I have a lovely playmat made by Ultra Pro, not sponsored, that has the new artwork for Overgrown Tomb. This is actually one of my favorite artworks because, I don't know, I just really like it. It's got like these people who are like frozen in statue-wise and kind of has like a Bioshock feel to it. I don't know, just really like it. Now, in this video, one of the things I'm going to be showing to you guys is something kind of exciting to me. And that is, I'm going to be doing a box opening of Magic the Gathering Double Masters. So we're going to be taking a look at Double Masters. So without further ado, let's see what we got. Alright, so one of the promotional giveaways that my LGS, and I think it was actually coming out with a box, are these two really awesome foil new artwork cards. In this case, we actually have the Wrath of God. It is a brand new Wrath of God. That's just a 4 mana, 2 white and 2 generic that says destroy all creatures. They can't be generated. So if I take a look at that real quick. There you guys go. There is that beautiful artwork, which I think is actually really cool. If you take a look at the actual art there, you can see a bunch of creatures are getting destroyed. There's a giant kind of blast. It gives me a very Independence Day feeling. The second card that came with this is Chord of Calling. So 3 green mana and X. And it's got Convoke that allows you to search for a creature card that has X mana cost within its converted mana cost, and you can bring it directly to the battlefield. So it's a great kind of tutor for creatures, and I'm actually really excited to be playing both of these in my decks. So they will find a home very shortly. So without further ado, let's go ahead and crack open our box of Double Masters. Now in this box, I believe we have 24 cards that are actually doubled up the number of cards, 24 packs with double the number of cards in each pack, as well as a box topper, which we'll save at the very end to see what crazy box toppers we end up getting. Now, me personally, I hope to pull a Mana Crypt. I also really like Kalia. Maybe she'll become a commander of mine. I don't know. We'll see. So, handy dandy scissors. Let's go cut into the box. We broke the seal. But I've never actually opened one of these before. Oh, that can actually just pop right out. And we slide that right in. Perfect. All right. So we do have our Double Masters box topper. This is the one that comes with the 2 fancy cards in here. And we'll save that off to the end. We'll save that off to the side. We also have our nice lovely packs. There should be a total of 24, all double the numbers. And yeah, let's go ahead and open. All right, so pack number 1. I always love opening a new pack. Gets me like all anxious and excited to see what we have in here. Now I think what I'm going to actually start off by doing is showing you guys a couple of the commons, and eventually as we start to open up more packs and we see that there are more commons that are kind of similar, I'm going to kind of skip through them towards the end just a little bit. Alright, so our first card here we have Sanctum Gargoyle, 3 mana and 1 white. It is a flying. He enters the battlefield, may return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand, and he is a 2/3. We also have Whisper of the Wilds. So that's 1 and a green. It's a 0/2. Tap to add a green. That actually seems like a pretty good ramp spell. We also have Defiant Salvager, 2 and a black. We've got Orcish Vandal. We got Mirror Retriever, which I believe my friend runs this in one of his artifact decks. So yeah, that's a pretty cool card. Vidalcan Infuser, 3 and a blue. We've got Peace Strider. When Peace Strider enters the battlefield, you gain 3 life. We have Giant Sleeve Artisan. Now, I actually really like this card. This is actually from one of the first sets that I ended up buying Magic from, which was Kaladesh. So anything that kind of reminds me of Kaladesh, I really enjoy. We have Is It Charm, which is a blue and a red, allows you to counter and do other cool things. Gelatinous Genesis, ooh, so we got some kind of weird like oozy jello. Rush Knowledge, and actually we're heading towards our rares. So the rares in the pack, we have a Death Shadow, so it's 1 black mana, and Death Shadow gets -X, where X is your life total. Okay, so you can play him, and however much life you have, that's how much he loses. So the weaker you are, the stronger he becomes. That might be good in late game of Commander, but I don't know how much you would play that. Alright, and so sorry about that edit cut. I'm actually still trying to figure out the best way to record these videos, and my camera got a little bit top heavy, so it started to fall forwards. So forgive me for that. To kind of recap, we're actually down to our rares, and in this case we have Death Shadow, as I already mentioned beforehand. He's the 1 black mana that gets -X, where X is your life total, so might not necessarily be good in Commander, except for the very late game. And then we ended up opening up Riz the Redeemed, who is actually a pretty good Selesnya commander. He tells you that you got 2 in Selesnya. You can tap him to create a 1/1 green-white elf warrior creature token, or you can spend 4 and 2 Selesnya and then tap him again. For each creature token you control, create a token, and that's a copy of that creature. So he's a really, really good kind of like creature token commander build. So he actually might be going in a deck of mine. He's pretty cool, so we'll keep him off to the side. And then we also see that in these packs, I do believe that you actually do get 2 foils in them. So in this case, we have both Brainstorm, which is just a common, but it's a blue mana. You get to draw 3 cards, put the top 2 cards in your hand, or put 2 cards in your hand on the top of your library, and Ravenous Intruder. So again, this looks like another card from Kaladesh because of the little gremlin here. You get to sacrifice an artifact, and then Ravenous Intruder gets +2/+2 until end of turn. Both of these are actually pretty cool, and I play a lot of Brainstorm, so I'll find a spot for that. And then we've got our creature token here, and it is just a 3/3 green ape creature token. Awesome. All right, so I'm going to organize them, or I'm going to keep my rares off in one pile. We'll put our uncommons in another, and then we will just put our commons in one other pile, and then we'll also keep our foils kind of off to the side. Okay, just make sure it's still on. On to pack 2. Alright, so I'm going to just kind of keep going down the line. We see that we got some weird, I don't even know who that is, but if you know who that is, let me know down in the comments below. Let's go and check out what we got going on in this pack. Pack 2. Alright, we got the Silumgar Scavenger, flying with an exploit trigger. Pretty good, pretty good. Death Hood Cobra. Oh, that thing looks creepy. That almost looks like something that you would see off of Alien vs. Predator, especially with that little tiny mouth in there. Love that art. The Tumble Magnet. Tumble Magnet enters the battlefield with 3 charge counters on it. Tap and remove a charge counter from Tumble Magnet. Tap target artifact or creature. Seems pretty good. We got another Brainstorm, but we got the better foil version off to the next of it. An Expedition Map. That is definitely I'm going to put off to the side because I want to put that in some decks. That is a card that I do like a lot. Next up, we've got Iron Bully. Well, that doesn't seem very nice. Just some kind of like bully artifact card. Corridor Monitor. Artifact Creature Construct. I think this one came from... actually, yes, Castle Vantress. So this is from Eldraine's set. Decent. We have another Glint Sleeve Artisan. Already showed him off. And now we're getting into our uncommons. With these uncommons, we got Treasure Keeper. When Treasure Keeper dies, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal a non-land card with converted mana cost 3 or less. You may cast that card without paying its mana cost. Put all revealed cards not cast this way on the bottom of your library in a random order. Seems pretty good. We got another Ravenous Intruder, the non-foil version. Followed by a Morkrut Banshee. She's a spirit 3 and 2 black with Morbid. When Morkrut Banshee enters the battlefield, if a creature died this turn, target creature gets -4/-4 until end of turn. Otherwise, she's a 4/4 spirit. Yeah, she actually looks pretty gross. Ooh, okay. These are the land cards that I like. So these are the filter lands where you can put any kind of mana into them and you can get any combination of mana that they would produce. So 2 red, a red and green, or 2 green. In this case, we got Firelit Thicket. That's going to be going into my Angry Jellybean deck. And then we got Thragtusk. So he is a 4 and a green creature beast. When Thragtusk enters the battlefield, you gain 5 life. When Thragtusk leaves the battlefield, create a 3/3 green beast creature token. He's a 5/3. Seems pretty good. All right, and now we get into our 2 foils for this pack. We have Volshock Gauntlets. It's 2 colorless. Artifact equipment. Equipped creature gets +2 or +4/+2 and doesn't untap during its controller's untap step. You can then equip with 3. All right. And finally, we have Sentinel of the Pearl Trident. He's a 4 and a blue. He's a flash. When Sentinel of the Pearl Trident enters the battlefield, you may exile target historic permanent you control. If you do, return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So they have a little note down here that historic cards include things like artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. So I do believe that he came from the Dominaria because I think that's when historic was put in. And then finally, we've got our token for this pack. It is a soldier creature token. Cool, cool, cool. All right, let's try to organize these just a little bit. And pack 3. Pack 3. Ooh, this one's got Brea on top. I know that she's a pretty good 4-color artifact commander. All right, going to kind of go through this one a little bit faster. We got Dire Fleet Hoarder, followed by Goblin Graveleer, Kozilek's Predator. Ooh, so Kozilek is one of the Eldrazi. So obviously from Zendikar, we can see the Hedrons in the background and the fact that it's a Eldrazi. When Kozilek's Predator enters the battlefield, create 2/0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature tokens. They have sacrifice this creature to add a colorless mana. Okay. Twisted Abomination. Golem Skin Gauntlets. Okay. We got another Corridor Monitor. We got ourselves an Ichor Wellspring, followed by an Ancestral Blade. When Ancestral Blade enters the battlefield, create a 1/1 white soldier creature token, then attach Ancestral Blade to it. Equipped creature gets +1/+1 with an equipment of 1. Okay. Welding Jar. So now we're getting into our uncommons. Sacrifice Welding Jar. Sacrifice Welding Jar. Generate target artifact, and it's a 0 mana costing jar. Seems pretty good. We then have the Weapons Trainer. He's a human soldier ally. Other creatures you control get +1/+0 as long as you control an equipment. Seems pretty good for Boros. Galvanic Blast. Galvanic Blast deals 2 damage to any target, and then he has Metalcraft as an ability, where it will deal 4 damage instead if you control 3 or more artifacts. So this would be good in a mono-red artifact deck. Cool. And now we're getting into our rares for this pack. We have Kragenwick Cremator. When Kragenwick Cremator enters the battlefield, discard a card at random. If you discard a creature card this way, Kragenwick Cremator deals damage equal to that card's power or to target player or planeswalker. He's also 2 and 2 red. And then our last rare for this pack, we have a Glimmer Void. It is a land. At the beginning of your end step, if you control no artifacts, sacrifice a Glimmer Void. You can tap it to add 1 mana of any color. Okay, again, good in like an artifact heavy deck. And then our 2 foils for the pack. Disciple of the Vault. Whenever an artifact is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, you may have target opponent lose 1 life. He stands in the shadow of his lord, Geth, drinking in the dark energies of the vault. So it seems like his lord is Geth of the Vault, which is a pretty good zombie card. Cool. And then our other foil, we have Golem Artisan. He is a 5 mana spell. Tap 2, target artifact gets +1/+1 until end of turn. Or you can tap 2 and target artifact creature gains your choice of flying, trample, or haste until end of turn. And he himself is a 3/3. Seems decent. And our token for this turn, we have another human soldier. Well, in this case, this is a human soldier. The other one was just a soldier. Okay, let's move on to the Wormcoil Engine. Pack 4. All right, we see we got another Defiant Scavenger. We have an Orcish Vandal. We have a Might of the Masses, followed by a Mirror Retriever, a Vidalcan Infuser, a Peace Strider, and an Urza's Mine. Nice. So Urza's Mine is one of those kind of like old cards where if you had it with 2 other Urza land cards, which hopefully we pulled them in here, they give you like a crazy boost in mana. In particular, we can tap this to add 1 colorless, and if we control Urza's Power Plant or Urza's Tower, it'll produce 2 instead. So I'm going to keep that off to the side in the hopes that we get the other 2, because I don't know, maybe we'll run that in a deck. We have Therabin Inspector. Seems good. We've got Sphinx of the Guild Pack. So again, we're heading into our uncommons. Sphinx of the Guild Pack was either in, what was it? The Ravnica Allegiance or the Guilds of Ravnica, like the newest Ravnica sets. One of the best planes of all. 7 mana, it's a Sphinx of the Guild Pack, is all colors, and has flying. He also has hexproof from mono-colored cards. Okay. We have Pry Wild Shaman, 2 in a red. He's a Goblet Shaman with Blood Rush of 1 in a red. Discard Pile Shaman. Target attacking creature gets +3/+1 until end of turn. Whenever 1 or more creatures you control deals combat damage to a player, if Pyre Wild Shaman is in your graveyard, you may pay 3. If you do, return Pry Wild Shaman to your hand. Okay? And then finally we have Reclamation Sage. This is actually a pretty good card too. 2 in a green. When Reclamation Sage enters the battlefield, you may destroy target artifact or enchantment. And she got herself a brand new artwork. Definitely an improvement in my opinion. I like that art. And now we head, okay, that's a good one. We head into our commons or on our rares. In this case, we got our first mythic. We've got Dark Depths. Dark Depths is a legendary snowland. Dark Depths enters the battlefield with 10 ice counters on it. We can tap 3 to remove an ice counter from Dark Depths. And when Dark Depths has no more ice counters on it, sacrifice it. If you do, create a Merit Lage, a legendary 2020 black avatar creature token with flying and indestructible. Nothing like finding a way to get rid of all the tokens on here to create a 2020 indestructible flyer. I actually have a spot for this in my vampire deck because a vampire hex mage is a great combo with this to get an instant 2020 flying indestructible. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. With that one being a mythic, I'm actually going to create another little pile off to the side. And finally, for the last rare, we have Godo, Bandit Warlord, a legendary creature, human barbarian. He's a 5 in a red. When Godo, Bandit Warlord enters the battlefield, you may search your library for an equipment card and put it onto the battlefield. If you do, shuffle your library. When Godo attacks for the first time each turn, untap it and all samurai you control. After this phase, there's an additional combat phase. Oh, so an extra combat commander. Pretty cool, especially since he's a legendary. All right, getting into our foils, we have a foil Kozilek's Predator. We kind of already read him. And a foil Glass Dusk Hulk. 3, a white, and a blue. Okay. That actually looks really cool. So with the shininess on that, especially with the combinations of the blue and the white, that looks pretty awesome. And a Thopter creature token. All right, so we have a Driver of the Dead, a Clear Shot, a Weapon Surge, a Heartless Pillage, another Iron Bully, in Ever-Flowing Chalice, which can be pretty good, especially in the late game. We have ourselves an Apprentice Wizard. You can tap a blue to tap him to add 3 colorless mana. Especially if you can find a way to untap him, you might be able to generate infinite mana off of him. Pretty good. Remember the Fallen, and now we are in our uncommons. So we got our Fatal Push. It is a black destroy target creature if it has converted mana cost 2 or less. You can also cast it with the Revolt here, where you destroy that creature if it has converted mana cost 4 or less. Instead, if a permanent you control left the battlefield this turn. Pretty good. We got a Clone Shell here. He's a 5 mana artifact shapeshifter with an imprint. When Clone Shell enters the battlefield, look at the top 4 cards of your library, exile 1 face down, then put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. When Clone Shell dies, turn the exiled cards face up. If it's a creature card, put it onto the battlefield under your control. Okay, seems like a good way to kind of cheat out something very expensive. Maybe an Eldrazi bad boy. Valorous Stance, 1 and a white. Choose 1. Target creature gains indestructible until end of turn, or destroy target creature with toughness 4 or greater. Okay, and we get into another mythic. We have Trinisphere. As long as Trinisphere is untapped, each spell that would cost less than 3 mana to cast costs 3 mana to cast. So it's saying that if you have to spend, if anything less than 3 mana costing, automatically is going to be bumped up to 3. Seems like a decent enough kind of tax card. We got a Basilisk Collar. So equipped creature has Death Touch and Lifelink. You equip for 2, and it's got a 1 CMC. And then finally, our foils for this turn. We have Skinbrand Goblin, 1 in a red, Blood Rush, discard him, and target attacking creature gets +2/+1 until end of turn. And finally, we have Brimstone Volley. 2 in a red. Brimstone Volley deals 3 damage to any target. If you have the Morbid cost, Brimstone deals 5 damage instead if a creature died this turn. Peace has failed. War had failed. There was only one option left. Well, it kind of looks like that option is just to burn everything to the ground. Seems like a good option. And then we also have a Servo Creature Token. Okay. Next pack. Alright, so we got a couple of good mythics. I'm still hoping that we can find either like a Mana Crypt or an Archangel Avacyn. That would be pretty cool. Alright, so we got ourselves a Supernatural Stamina, a Bone Picker, Ancient Stirrings. We got ourselves a Lightning Axe, nothing like an axe made out of lightning. A Pyrite Spellbomb, a Fairy Mechanist, a Surge Node. We got ourselves a Fortify, and in the uncommons, we got a Disciple of the Vault. We've actually already read him. He's the one who is partners up with Geth, so he's pretty cool. He's also a human cleric. We have Gore Clan Rampager, 2, a red and a green. Trample Blood Rush with a red and a green. Discard him. Target attacking creature gets +4/+4 and gains trample until end of turn. Okay. We got ourselves a Basalt Monolith, which unfortunately I already have all the ones that I need, but it's still a pretty good card. And then our rares for this pack, we have a Heat Shimmer, 2 in a red. Create a token that's a copy of target creature, except it has haste, and at the beginning of the end step, exile this permanent. Okay. Ooh, got another mythic. In this case, we got a Sword of Fire and Ice. 3 converted mana cost. Equipped creature gets +2/+2 and has protection from red and from blue. Whenever equipped creature deals combat damage to a player, Sword of Fire and Ice deals 2 damage to any target, and you draw a card with an equipped cost of 2. That's a pretty happy mythic. Yeah, I like that. And then finally we get into our foils for this turn. Nothing too crazy, just an Orcish Vandal and a Mer Retriever. And then our token with a treasure token. All right, next up, Ancient Stirrings. Bone Picker. Got another Lightning Axe. We have a Glaze Fiend. A Fairy Mechanist. Surge Node. Another Golem Skin of Gauntlets. A Crusader of Odric. And going into the uncommons, we got ourselves a Crop Rotation. 1 green. If additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice a land. You get to search your library for a land card and put that onto the battlefield and shuffle your library. Pretty good kind of search spell. Bloodshot Trainee. Bloodshot Trainee deals 4 damage to target creature. Activate this ability only if Bloodshot Trainee's power is 4 or greater. So you do have to buff him a little bit, but as soon as you buff him, he is a pretty good removal spell. He's also 3 in a red. We have Thirst for Knowledge, 2 in a blue. Draw 3 cards, then discard 2 cards unless you discard an artifact card. Halfway decent. Our next rare, we have a High Market. So High Market. Tap 1 for a colorless. Tap and sacrifice a creature. You gain 1 life. And then we have another potential commander. We've got Shroom, the Hedgemon. 3 and Esper. Legendary artifact creature, Sphinx. Flying. When Shroom of Hedgemon enters the battlefield, you may return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Seems pretty good. Alright, and then our foils for this turn, we have a Magnifying Glass and a Costly Plunder. I believe that was actually doing pretty good in Standard at one point. And then our token, being a Noose. Okay. Deathhood Cobra. Or Thumble Magnet, excuse me. We got a Dire Fleet Hoarder, followed by a Goblin Gavelier. An Accomplish Automination. Oh, he's accomplished. Good for him. A Chatter of the Squirrels. Okay, if you're building a squirrel token deck, you obviously got to get that. What in the world is in his mouth? Is he like spitting out blood there? I have no idea. Is it on the screen? Should be. There we go. Yeah, I don't know what's in his mouth. Something gross. Okay. A Metallic Rebuke. A Fortify. And then in our uncommons, we've got Springleaf Drum. 1 mana. It's an artifact. Tap. An untapped creature you control. Add 1 mana of any color. Pretty good. We got ourselves a Hinder, 2 in a blue, counter target spell. If that spell is countered this way, put that card on the top or bottom of its owner's library instead of into that player's graveyard. Okay, good little delay spell. We got another Brimstone Volley, which we had the foil of. And finally, for our rares in this pack, we have a Spell Skite, 2 mana. We can actually play a Phyrexian Blue, which really just means that we can either pay 1 blue or 2 life, and we can change the target of target spell or ability to Spell Skite. Pretty good. Ooh, and we've got a Progenitor Mimic. I actually have another spot potential for this one. It's 4 and a Simic, so a green and a blue. You may have Progenitor Mimic enter the battlefield as a copy of any creature on the battlefield, except it has, at the beginning of your upkeep, if this creature isn't a token, create a token that's a copy of this creature. So he's pretty good. And then we got our foils. Ooh, and that actually gets us into our next land. We have the Urza's Power Plant as a foil. So that's pretty cool. Look at that art. Like that green on there. We also have a Vedalken Infuser, which we've already seen before. And finally, our token, the Mirror token. All right. Next pack. All right, so next up, Supernatural Stamina. We have Cathartic Reunion. So sweet. We got Chandra meeting back up with her mom. If you ever followed with the story, it's kind of a nice little touching reunion. Makes me happy. We have a Cast Down from Dominaria. Destroy target non-land creature. We have a Fierce Empath. He's an elf. When Fierce Empath enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a creature card with converted mana cost 6 or greater. Reveal it, put it into your hand, then shuffle your library. We have a Metal Spinner Puzzle Knot. That is from Kaladesh as well. A Peace Strider, another Vidalcan Infuser, an Eager Construct. Look how eager he is. He's just so excited to get to work. We have a Pain Smith, so our first uncommon. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may have target creature get +2/+0, gain Death Touch until end of turn. Okay. We have a Riddle Smith. It's 1 in a blue. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may draw a card. If you do, discard a card. Cranial Plating, 2 mana. Equipped creature gets +1/+0 for each artifact you control. You can also tap 2 black, attach Cranial Plating to target creature you control. And then our first rare in this pack, Awakening Zone. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may create a 0/1 colorless Eldrazi spawn creature token. It has sacrifice this creature to add 1 colorless. Pretty good little ramp spell. And then a Master of Ethereum, 2 in a blue. Vidalcan Wizard, Master of Ethereum's power and toughness are each equal to the number of artifacts you control. Other artifact creatures you control get +1/+1. Pretty decent lord. Our foils for this turn, ooh, that's a nice card. We've got Crusader of Odric, 2 in a white. And then the other one that I'm kind of excited for, we got a foil Wrath of God. I know that they already gave us one, but we got another one. Just look at the difference between those arts. Let me know down in the comments below which one you guys actually prefer. I'm kind of partial to this new art. I don't know, I like the oranges that are inside of there, but the old is still pretty good. So that's awesome. Cool. And then we have a Wolf Creature token. All right. Next pack. It's the next pack. Might of the Masses, Driver of the Dead, Clear Shot, Weapon Surge. We've got ourselves an Urza Mine, so if I'm not mistaken, I believe we actually... Nope, we already had the Urza's Mine, so I was mistaken. Still a good card. Hopefully we can find the other one that we're missing here. Should put that off to the side. We have a Sift, a Sickle Slice, Angel of the Dawn, and then the first uncommon, a Sandstone Oracle, 7 mana, artifact creature Sphinx. Flying, when Sandstone Oracle enters the battlefield, choose an opponent. If that player has more cards in hand than you, draw cards equal to the difference. That seems okay. I mean, 7 mana is pretty expensive. You have to try to find some way to cheat it in. A Selesnya Guildmage, so 2 Selesnya, so either green-green, white-white, green-white, whatever combination. You can do 3 in a green, create a 1/1 green sapling creature token. 3 in a white, creatures you control get a +1/+1 until end of turn. You'd actually be pretty good with Reese. We have an Enlarge, 3 and 2 green. Target creature gets +7/+7 and gains trample until end of turn. It must be blocked this turn if able. Look at that adorable giant little cat that they put on there. What actually is all going... Okay, so it looks like it's just a giant cat diving below the sea to get at some fish. I can appreciate that. Yeah. We have an Adaptive Automation, another legendary. As Adaptive Automation enters the battlefield, choose a creature type, and then he is the chosen type. In addition to its other types, other creatures you control of the chosen type get +1/+1. We then have a Grand Architect, Vidalcan Artificer. Other blue creatures you control get +1/+1. Tap a blue. Target artifact creature becomes blue until end of turn. Tap and untap blue creature you control. Add 2 colorless mana. Spend this mana only to cast an artifact spell or activate abilities of artifacts. And then our foils for this turn, we've got a Weapon Surge, and then we pulled another Urza's Mind. Okay? And then our token, the Servo token. Again, sorry about that cut. Camera started to fall down. We're learning as we go. All right, next pack. So we're about halfway through this box. Still would like to either see a Mana Crypt or an Avacyn. I've got to pull one of those. But otherwise, we're not doing too bad. I'm happy about that Sword of Fire and Ice. That all seems pretty good. I'm going to go through these just a little bit quicker. We got a Direfleet Hoarder, a Goblin Cavalier, Kozilek's Predation, Accomplished Automaton, Chatter of the Squirrels, again, all of these ones we've kind of seen before, a Metallic Rebuke, a Flare Husk, Strength of Arms. I don't think we've actually seen that one before, and I believe that might be Thalia. Okay, for our uncommons, we've got Hidden Stockpile, 1 in a black. Seems good. It's from Aether Revolt. A Golem Artisan. We've already read him. Another Glass Dusk Hulk. And our rares for this term, for this pack, Aether Sworn I can't see that. Canoness. So Aether Sworn Canoness. Artifact creature, human cleric. Each player who has cast a non-artifact spell this turn can't cast additional non-artifact spells. So that seems like a pretty taxing tax card, especially since most are not, what's it called, artifacts. Another Wrath of God, not foils, so it's okay. Do like my Wraths, though. They're pretty good. And the foils for this pack, a Fortify and a Death Hood Cobra, with our token being the plant. Okay, to our next pack. Kazel's Toll Collector, Sanctum Gargoyle, Whisperer of the Wilds, Pyrite Spellbomb, a Brainstorm, Cathodian. We have an Urza's Power Plant. We have a foil version of that, but it's still pretty good, still good. I think we're still looking to get that last one, too. Alabaster's Mage, a Culling Dais, which is our first uncommon. Seems cool. We have an Oubliette. So this card has generated a lot of buzz around it, especially with this reprinting, because the text on the old one is very, very confusing. For those of you that are wanting to run Oubliette, you almost kind of have to just think of it as a weird, what was that one card called? Teferi's Protection. Basically, you just put it on a target creature and it phases out until Oubliette leaves the battlefield. So it's just like a phase out card. Still pretty cool. I might find a place for that. We got ourselves a Lightning Greaves. Always welcome and always happy to see Lightning Greaves. We'll always find a spot for that. And for our rares this turn, wrong pile. We have a Reshape, X and a blue. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact. Search your library for an artifact card with converted mana cost X or less and put it onto the battlefield, then shuffle your library. Ooh, and we have a Hannah Ship's Navigator. I actually was thinking of building a commander deck maybe around her. 1, a blue and a white. Return target artifact or enchantment card from your graveyard to your hand. Seems halfway decent. And for our foils this turn, we've got another Expedition map. I'm going to put that one off to the side. Always will find a spot for that. And a Veteran Explorer. And finally, our token, a Germ token. These tokens always kind of freak me out. They just look so creepy. I love them. Cool. Been a little second since we've had our last mythic. I hope we're not done with them. Hopefully our luck's not that bad. A Glaze Fiend, a Crushing Vines. Poor little owl. Somebody save him. A Skin Brand Goblin, a Golem Skin Gauntlets, a Steel Sabotage, an Ireling Steed, Cathodian, Strength of Arms, a Buried Ruin. That's a pretty good land card. Tap to add a colorless, 2 and tap, sacrifice Buried Ruin, return target artifact card from your graveyard to your hand. Pretty decent land card. Good way to get artifacts that you want back out. An Auroch Salvagers, seems good. A Yavamaya's Embrace, enchant creature. You control enchanted creature. Enchanted creature gets +2/+2 and has trample. It actually kind of looks like they're being helped by the vines in some kind of weird way, so interesting. And then, our mythic for this pack. We got another mythic, a Dark Confidant. 1 in a black, creature, human, wizard. At the beginning of your upkeep, reveal the top card of your library and put that card into your hand. You lose life equal to its converted mana cost. That is going to find a home somewhere. like that card. We have an Oblivion Stone. I love that new artwork on it. That looks awesome. This is the card where you put a bunch of fate counters, and anything that doesn't have a fate counter, when you go to sacrifice it, will destroy them. So it's kind of like an onboard wrath. You might generate a lot of hate from people at your table until you trigger that or press that button. Cool. Our foils, we have a Clear Shot and a Woodland Champion. Token, just a elemental. Okay, we have a Dark Steel Axe. We have a Teamer's Battle Rage, an Elvish Aberration, Chatter of the Squirrels. Got another weird little blood stuff coming out of there. A Sickle Slicer, a Boldovian Rage. Don't think we've seen that one yet. Another Sift, a Sanctum Spirit, and we have a Dark Steel Citadel. It's indestructible. It's an artifact land, tap to add 1 colorless. A Core Taper. Tap to put a charge counter on target artifact. Sacrifice Core Taper, put 2 charge counters on target artifact. Seems okay. We got ourselves another Woodland Champion. And we have, for our rares, Shamanic Revelation. Draw 1 card for each creature you control. If you have the Ferocious, you gain 4 life for each creature you control with power 4 or greater. He's also 3 and 2 green. Pretty decent. And we have a Walking Ballista. So if you guys are aware of this combo, you can go infinite machine gun mode with this card and with the new God card. What was his name again? Oh my gosh, I'm totally blanking on that name. Heliod. With the new Heliod, you can go infinite. So I know he saw a spike in price. Pretty cool. Our foils, we got a foil Bone Picker and a Thopter Foundry, where it's a white, a black, and a blue. Sacrifice a non-token artifact. Create a 1/1 blue Thopter artifact. Creature token with flying. You gain 1 life. Okay, and we've got an use token. Just about done with this box. Still have not found that Mana Crypt or that Avacyn. So those are the 2 cards that I really want. We got Driver of the Dead. We have a Clear Shot, a Weapon Surge, a Heartless Pillage, another Sift, a Sickle Slicer, Boldovian Rage, a Fortify. Okay. Sphinx Summoner. Seems pretty cool. Always like a good Sphinx. We got another Sentinel of the Pearl Trident. We have a Cathoda Flame Fiend, which seems pretty interesting. And we got another pretty good, in this case, could be kind of like a group hug deck. We've got Adept. Legendary creature, human wizard for 2 and 2 blue. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player may put an artifact, creature, or land card from their hand onto the battlefield. I actually played a couple games where this card allowed for some crazy things. Some crazy things were happening. We've got a Sundering Titan. When Sundering Titan enters the battlefield or leaves the battlefield, choose a land card of each basic land type, then destroy those lands. Okay. We got a Steel Sabotage as our foil, and another Eager Construct, and a Beast token. Piles are getting a little messy. Gotta fix that up just a little bit. So we got 4 mythics so far. We're still not all the way through, so hopefully we'll pull a few more. It'd be kind of nice. Alright, so first up, Skinbrand Goblin, followed by Crushing Vine, a Divest, a Gleaming Barrier, a Parasitic Strix. We got an Urza's Tower, and I believe this is our last one that we had to get for this. So now we have all 3. Gonna put that off to the side. We've got an Ichor Wellspring, a Alabaster Mage, and our commons, a Veteran Explorer, a Cogwork Assembler, a Dread Return. Ooh, and our next mythic, a Jund Dragon. We've got Karthus Tyrant of Jund, a legendary creature dragon, flying haste. When Karthus Tyrant of Jund Enters the battlefield, gain control of all dragons, then untap all dragons. Other dragon creatures you control have haste. So he'd be good against a dragon deck. That could get crazy. Yeah, he's pretty cool. Put him off to the side. Ooh, and another mythic in this pack. Ooh, 2 mythics. Geist of Saint Traft. 1 a white and a blue. Another pretty good commander. Legendary creature, Spirit Cleric. He's got hexproof. And then whenever he attacks, you create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying that untaps and attacking. Exile that token at the end of the combat. So, pretty good. And then our foils for this pack, we've got a Supernatural Stamina, followed by a Fencing Ace. Okay, oh, and there is our Merit Lage token, so now we even got that. That's even more of a reason to run it in my Vampire deck. Yeah, I think we'll end up seeing that. Okay, next up. So we just, in that one pack, went up from 4 to 6 mythics. Pretty decent. We got a Calzalux, a Predator, a Twisted Abomination, a Krazel's Tool Collector, a Flare Husk, another Urza's Power Plant, a Frogify, pretty good removal, an Ever-Flowing Chalice, Therabin Inspector, and for our uncommons, Treasure Mage, followed by an Unlicensed Disintegration, and then a Pentad Prism. Sunburst. I haven't seen this one yet. 2 mana, Sunburst. This enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. Remove a charge counter from Pentad Prism, add 1 mana of any color. Okay, so it's an okay ramp. And then for our legendaries, we have Goblin Guide, followed by a Champion of Lambholt, and then that's actually it. So the Goblin Guide is 1 red haste. Whenever a Goblin Guide attacks, defending player reveals the top card of their library. If it's a land card, that player puts it into their hand. Okay. And then the Champion of Lambholt. Creatures with power less than Champion of Lambholt's power can't block creatures you control. Whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, put a +1/+1 counter on Champion of Lambholt. So that's an okay card. We have a foil Glint Sleeve Artisan and another Lightning Greaves. This time it's a foil Lightning Greaves. Pretty cool. And a Demon Creature token. Moving on down the line. Moving on down the line. We got ourselves a Crushing Vine, a Skinbrand Goblin, a Divest, a Rapacious Dragon, a Steel Sabotage, an Iron League Steed, a Cathodian, a Crib Swap. I actually run this in my dog deck. Just built Good Boy Tribal. Pretty good. Gets you both a dog and a cat, and while getting rid of one of your opponent's creatures. And for our uncommon, we have Master Splicer, 3 and a white. It's a Human Artificer, so I'm going to guess that he's from Phyrexia, because he looks creepy as all out. A Skull Mulcher. That just sounds unpleasant, mulching your skull. And a Sphera Sphinx. For our legendaries, we have a Court of Calling. I don't know. Which one do you guys prefer? Let me know down below. I kind of still like this new foil one. It's got a lot of like little worm stuff going on. But it's still a good card nonetheless. So we've got a Court of Calling and a Skurdag High Priest. 1 and a black with Morbid. Tap 2 untapped creatures you control. Create a 5/5 black demon creature token with flying. Activate this ability only if a creature died this turn. Seems pretty good. Creature dies, you get a 5/5 demon. And then for our foils, we got a Parasitic Strikes and Accomplished Automaton, with our token being a Mer token. Bringing it back now, y'all. 1 pack this time. Boom. Alright. We've got a Heartless Pillage, Dark Steel Axe, Teamer Battle Rage, Balduvian Rage, 2 rage cards. An Agrivian Restoration, a Chromatic Star. 1 tap, sacrifice Chromatic Star, add 1 mana of any color. When Chromatic Star is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, draw a card. Okay. Magnifying Glass. Nothing beats a good old magnification. Sanctum Spirit. And our uncommons, we have a Cooling Diasis, or Dias, a Vampire Hexmage. Speak of the Devil, that awesome combo with these two. Combo goes, you play this out. You play her, sacrifice her, remove all the counters from Dark Death. Now you got yourself a 2020 Merit Lage. Definitely a combo worth running if you can. Definitely going to see that in my vampires. Okay, cool. And then we have a Topple the Statue. Our legendaries or our rares for this term. We've got an Isochron Scepter, followed by a Sculpting Steel. You may have Sculpting Steel enter the battlefield as a copy of any artifact on the battlefield for 3 mana. Okay, 3 mana, copy your best artifact. Seems like a good deal. For our foils, a Dread Return. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Okay, I need to put a foil on this one, or a pack on this one. We got ourselves a foil Mox Opal. That's what I'm talking about, children. That is what I'm talking about. Quickly put that in. Ooh, and I thought this box was going to be a dud. I'm starting to get a little shaky. We got a foil Mox Opal. Look how good that looks. Oh, 0 mana. If you don't know, it's a Metalcraft. We get to tap, add 1 mana of any color, activate this ability only if you control 3 or more artifacts. So if you run an artifact deck, definitely worth trying to get. And it's foil. Yeah, I'm excited about that. We're going to put that off in its own little special area. We'll put it right here. Keep it nice away. Okay. Oh, I thought this box was going to be a little bit dud. If we don't pull anything else, I'm pretty happy with that Mox Opal. Still would like to at least see maybe an Avacyn. And if we get a Mana Crypt, I mean, I'm not going to be upset. We got a Twisted Abomination, a Kazul's Toll Collector, a Sanctum Gargoyle, Whisperer of the Wilds. We've got an Urza's Power Plant, a Frogify, an Everflowing Chalice, an Ancestral Blade, a Marisha's Bauble. It's actually our first uncommon, so let's go and put those down. Seems cool. A Manamorphose. I think that's how you say that. Manamorphose. Yep. 1, a red or a green. Add 2 mana of any combination of colors, and you get to draw a card. Okay, not bad. In Ash Barrens. I've actually run that in a couple decks. That's worth it. And then for our first legendary rare in this pack, we've got a Graven Carns. It's another filter land. You either add a red and a black, and you can either get a black back, a black red, or a red red. I'm going to put that off to a side. And another mythic. In this case, the mythic is Avenger of Zendikar. I'm going to try to find a home for him in my Angry Red Jellybean deck. Yeah, pretty cool. Put that off to the side too. And for our foils this turn, we got Sickle Slicer and Peace Strider, with our token being a treasure. And moving down the line. Ooh, so excited about that Mox Opal. Okay, we got a Defiant Salvager, an Orcish Vandal, Might of the Masses, a Steel Sabotage, an Iron League Steed, another Expedition map, always find a place for that, a Frogify, Angel of the Dawn, and for our first uncommon, Invigorate. She certainly looks invigorated. A Throne of Gath. When you sit the Game of Thrones, you either win or die. So you get to sacrifice an artifact and proliferate. Seems okay for 2 mana. In O Naginata? Something like that. 1 mana, and then O Ganagada enters, can be attached only to a creature with power 3 or greater. Okay, so it's okay. We've got an Engineered Explosive. Pay X mana with Sunburst. This enters the battlefield with a charge counter on it for each color of mana spent to cast it. 2, sacrifice Engineered Explosive. Destroy each non-land permanent with converted mana cost equal to the number of charge counters on Engineered Explosive. Seems pretty decent. We've got a Tuk Tuk the Explorer, another goblin. Haste, when Tuk Tuk the Explorer dies, create a Tuk Tuk the Return, a legendary 5/5 colorless golem artifact creature token. Not bad. And for our foils, we've got a Sanctum Spirit, followed by a Supernatural Stamina, and then Wolf creature token. Oh, I think we're getting down to the last 3 packs, guys. Last 3 packs. Let's make them good. All right. Dark Steel Axe, a Teamer Battle Rage, an Elvish Aberration, an Executioner's Capsule, an Argivian Restoration, another Chromatic Star, another Magnifying Glass, a Crypt Swap. And for our uncommons, we've got a Thopter Foundry, a Jorah's Familiar, and a Trash for Treasure, 2 in a red. As an additional cost to cast this spell, sacrifice an artifact. Return target artifact card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Seems good. Like the ugly golem with that, or the ugly goblin. Stone Hewer Giant, 3 and 2 white. Vigilance, 1 and white. Search your library for an equipment card, put it onto the battlefield, attach it to a creature you control, then shuffle your library. Seems okay. And, oh, she used to be a Mythic and Dominaria. Now it looks like they bumped her down to a rare status. We've got Jorah, Weatherlight Captain. I know she can be a pretty good commander. Whenever you cast a historic spell, draw a card, and those historic spells, again, are artifacts, legendaries, and sagas. And yeah, she's pretty good. We also have Sanctum Gargoyle and a Fierce Empath as our foils, followed by a treasure. Last 2 packs. Come on. Let's do this. We're still looking for that Mana Crypt or Avacyn. Hopefully we can get it. Fingers crossed. Executioner's Capsule. A Battle... I can't see that. Battle Rattle Shaman. A Revoke Existence. A Conclave, a Naturalist. A Mere Retriever. We got ourselves another Urza's Mine. A Metallic Rebuke. An Alabaster Mage. Followed by our commons, our uncommons. We got a Thopter Engineer, 2 in a red. Pretty decent. We've got an Esperzoa. 2 in a blue. It's a jellyfish flying. At the beginning of your upkeep, return an artifact you control to its owner's hand. Followed by a Mere Smith, 1 in white. Whenever you cast an artifact spell, you may pay 1. If you do, create a 1/1 colorless Mere artifact creature token. Seems good. And then we have Beacon of Unrest. Put target artifact or creature card from a graveyard onto the battlefield under your control. Shuffle Beacon of Unrest into its owner's library. That art on there looks, I don't even know, it looks pretty gross. Pretty cool. And for our last rare, we have Mazarek Krell Death Priest. It could be your commander whenever it's got flying, and then whenever a player sacrifices another permanent, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. That can get out of hand pretty quick. For our foils, we have Kazul's Toll Collector, and then Defiant Salvager, with our token being a Worm token. I actually need these because I will run him in my Tesa deck. So I'm going to put that off to the side because I need that. And last pack, let's give a good little love tap on both sides. Come on, pack, don't let me down. Last one of the box. Do good for me. Let's see what we got. All right, we've got a Divest, a Rapacious Dragon, a Silumgar Scavenger, another Brainstorm, an Expedition Map, an Iron Aboli, a Corridor Monitor, and a Crusader of Odric. For our uncommons, we have a Pongify, a Dismantle, and a Path to Exile. That is a pretty good white removal card, so I'm sure I can find a home for this. And then for our rares, we've got a Deep Glow Skate, and come on, last one. I feel like that's just going to be too mean to run, guys. Let me know in the comments below. Should I put this in a deck or should I not? Blightsteel Colossus. So 12 mana. Trample, Infect, Indestructible. If Blightsteel Colossus would be put into a graveyard from anywhere, reveal Blightsteel Colossus and shuffle it into its owner's library instead. This card is disgusting. People either hate it or they really hate it because it's just that bad. So I'm not upset about that mythic either. That's a pretty, that makes me happy to get. We'll actually put that in another little pack or another sleeve. Keep it looking nice. And for our foils, we got ourselves a foil squirrel. Gotta love that squirrel. And our last one, a Wooded Bastion. I actually run the Zendikar Expedition of this in my Karametra deck, but it's still welcome. I like it. I actually might put it in my Good Boy Tribal. And again, just another filtered land. You can either add a white, a green, and make 2 green, a white and a green, or a white and a white. So, pretty good. Okay, and we have a copy token. This token can be used as a represent token. That's a copy of a permanent. So, pretty good. All right. I'm going to go ahead and organize this up just a little bit. Make sure that it doesn't look as gross as it already does. Because, guys, it's getting messy over here. And then we'll get to what everybody's really excited about. The box toppers. Organize, organize, making it look nice. Cleaning, cleaning, cause I'm OCD. There's that. Here's this. Make my foils look nice. And let's see what we got. Guys, it's the ever-awaited Double Masters box topper. In this case, you get 2 box toppers of alternate arts. They originally at one point said that it is possible to pull 2 mythics, and then they kind of pulled that back and said you get 1 rare and 1 mythic. So regardless, let's keep our fingers crossed and hope that we get something good. Let's get something good, something good, something good. Let's go ahead and open it up. Be very careful. Ooh, I'm getting nervous because this is what I've been wanting to open this whole time. Okay. See, make sure that's all good and center. Making sure it's good and center. Okay, flipping over. All right, so our first one here, we've got a Goblin Guide. Again, that 1 red mana. It is a rare. Haste, whenever Goblin Guide attacks, defending player reveals the top card of their library. If it's a land card, that player puts it into their hand. When the landmarks themselves get up and move, Goblin, I can't see that. Intuition beats any map. Okay, so that looks pretty good. I mean, Goblin Guide, not bad. And our last one. Ooh, okay, so we got ourselves the alternate art of Kalia of the Vast. That is a pretty card. She might become a commander, I'm going to be honest. So she is 1 and then Mardu. So a red, a white, and a black for legendary creature, human cleric. Flying. Whenever Kalia of the Vast attacks an opponent, you may put an angel, demon, or dragon creature card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped and attacking that opponent. I'll have my revenge if I hope to, or what's that say? I'll have my revenge if I have to call on every force from above and below. So she means business. And guys, just look at that art. That looks sick. So good. Look at that. That purple and the red. And guys, in person, I'm sure the camera looks great, but it just probably doesn't deal justice in person because it looks really good. All right, guys. That actually takes us in. We'll actually go ahead and put her in a sleeve too. Make sure she stays looking good. Okay, and actually before I do call it there, I'm going to just kind of go over the good ones from the pack. Or at least the ones that I'm most excited about. We've got that foil Wooded Bastion. On to our mythics, we've got an Avenger of Zendikar. The Dark Depths is pretty cool. We've got a Geist of Saint Traft. A Carathus, Tyrant of Jund, a Dark Confidant. He's a pretty cool card too. And we also have that Sword of Fire and Ice going into finally that Trinisphere where you have to pay at least 3. And then really honestly, the things that kind of make this box. We got ourselves a Kalia of the Voice, a Blight Steel Colossus, and a foil Mox Opal. I mean, clearly, guys, this has got to be the winner here. Foil Mox Opal. All right, if you liked what you see here, please let me know. If you would like to see me do any other Magic related content, also make sure you comment down that below. Magic is another kind of favorite hobby of mine. I've got plenty of commander decks that I can do deck techs on, as well as other unboxings. So guys, if you like the Magic content, let me know and I'll definitely incorporate that into my video. I know it's a little bit kind of out of the way of what I traditionally do, but it is still something that I'm interested in. Otherwise, guys, thank you so much for hanging out with me with this video. I hope you enjoyed this box opening as much as I enjoyed opening it for you guys, and I'll see you in the next one. Have a good rest of your day. Bye! Peace.